We are fine, same to you.
I'm fine, thank you so much. Okay, dear students, now we are going to discuss our lesson. Our lesson is about reflection of light. Dear students, do you know about reflection of light?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, now we are going to discuss in detail reflection of light. And guys, please now you have to listen this video.
Reflector of light. But do the other objects also reflect light? Do you know what are the laws of reflection? What is a regular and scattered reflection? All this is coming up. You must be familiar with what is reflection of light. Reflection of light is the bouncing back of light after hitting a surface. Let's visualize it using this ball here. So if you imagine light to be this ball, can you see that it's bouncing back from the mirror, or it's getting reflected by the mirror? The mirror that we are discussing in this video is a plane mirror. It has a flat surface. The mirror is shiny and opaque. Do you know how an ideal mirror would reflect back all the light? But a real mirror absorbs some of the light energy and the remaining gets reflected back. Light follows certain laws of reflection. But before we discuss the laws of reflection, let's do a quick recap on the basic terms first. Let's say there is a mirror here, and I shine this torch towards the mirror. The torch gives out a beam of light. A beam is a collection of light rays. Let's consider a single ray of light for simplicity. It's called the reflected ray. Now we can draw an imaginary line at the point of incidence that is perpendicular to the mirror, and this line is called the normal. The normal is used to measure the angles here. So the angle the incident ray makes with the normal is called the angle of incidence, and similarly the angle the reflected ray makes with the normal is called the angle of reflection. There are two laws of reflection. The first law states that the incident ray, the reflected. Let's take a closer look. The first law talks about the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal. All these three things lie on the same plane. Now what does plane mean? Plane is a flat surface, just like a sheet of paper or a table surface. So which plane are they talking about here? This is a common confusion. Is it the mirror? That's right, it's not the mirror. In fact, the first law doesn't even talk about the mirror. It's this flat surface that is perpendicular to the mirror, are all lying on this flat surface, which is our plane here. The second law of reflection, thankfully, is much easier. It states that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. As you can see in the picture here, the angle of incidence is 40 degrees, and so is the angle of reflection. The angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. Let's place the two laws of reflection of light on our concept board. When we talk about reflection of light, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? You must be thinking about the mirror, right? But do the other objects also reflect light? For example, if you look around the vectors of light, the answer is yes, because that's how we see the world around us. These objects do not have light of their own. They are reflecting the light coming from some luminous source, like the sun or a light bulb. As we discussed, all objects reflect light. Now an interesting question is, do all the objects reflect the light in the same way? What do you think? So if you compare a mirror here using a sheet of paper, but we know that's not the case. So let's go ahead and talk about the types of reflection. There are two types of reflection. One is regular reflection and second is irregular or scattered or diffused reflection. A mirror or a highly polished surface is an example of regular reflection. But most of the objects around us, like paper, walls, curtains, are all examples of irregular reflectors of light because they scatter the light. It's easy to understand the difference between regular and irregular reflection if we consider a parallel beam of light falling on a mirror and a surface like a paper. So let's look at the mirror case first. So as you can see in the plane mirror, the parallel beam remains parallel even after. You can see that all the rays in the beam have the same angle of incidence. And following the laws of reflection, all the rays will have the same angle of reflection. So the incident beam remains parallel even after reflection. Now let's look at the case of irregular reflection. When a parallel beam of light falls on a surface like a paper, as you can see, it gets scattered in different directions. Is this because the laws of reflection don't hold here? No, the laws of reflection always hold. The paper seems smooth, but if you look closely at a microscopic level, the paper is rough. And so the angles of reflection will also be different. And this is how the light gets scattered in different directions. So it's called scattered reflection. Another name for this case is irregular or diffused reflection. Let's put regular and irregular reflection on our concept board. Fred?
Dear students, as you listen, now it is our time for group discussion. For group discussion, this will be third group, and this is a fourth group, fifth group, and this will be a sixth group, mean three together. Okay, boys, now our group discussion is going to start. First of all, we will discuss the question: what is reflection of light? Now we will discuss with each other. Reflection of light, please. What is reflection of light? We discuss in a video. You listen the video with each other. Now you start talking with each other. Everyone, please start discussing with each other. Please start discussion with each other. Please. What is reflection of light? Our first question is reflection of light. You start discussion with each other. These three together, please. Ajay bhai, and you all these three come together. Please start discussion. Everyone know they talk discussion with each other.
Which questions?
Reflection of light. First question. What is the reflection of light? First question. Everybody speak with each other.
Light reflection is divided into two groups, regular and irregular. For example, a mirror like that, they're coming because it can reflect our shadow of the scene. The regular reflected is how well they can exactly reflect our shape or produce light.
Why does this light touch the surface of the zero and reflect in another way?
Discuss together. Discuss together. Yes. Three of you discuss. Please discuss. Our first question, reflection of light. Yes, discussion with each other, speak with each other.
The angle between the normal and the incident ray is scaled angle of refraction. The bending of light is scaled refraction of light. Light travels slower in air than in glass. Optical space and base.
Yes, you see each other and then discuss. See each other. See two hands. Speak to yourself. Make a discussion. First discuss what is reflection of light and now law of reflection. What is first law of reflection? Discuss now first law of reflection, boys. Discuss first law of reflection. Now discussion time is over. Now we will ask this question. Any voluntarily who will give the question answer of the question one. What is reflection of light? What is reflection of light? Yes.
My question is reflection of light. When luminous object producing light and ray of this light fall in the surface of mirror or something else, and this ray goes another way, and this will this is reflection of the light.
Okay, good, well done. So, boy, give the answer of first question. When ray of light fall on any place on shining surface, and it will reflect to a same angle, so it bounces back to the same medium. So this is called a reflection of light. Okay, now next question. What is the first law of reflection? Any voluntarily, please. First law of reflection. Just stand up on your place and then give the answer.
First law is the incident ray and reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incident all lie on the same line.
That's good, great, well done. Good. Okay, now boys, as he told, and this is the first law of reflection was that incident ray, reflected ray, and normal all they lie in one plane or same plane. This is called a first law of reflection. That's good, well done. Now, boys, next question is, what is the second law of reflection? Yes, please.
The angle of incident is equal to the angle of reflection.
Good. Incidence angle is equal to angle of reflection. This is the second law of reflection. Okay, that's good. Now, boys, our next question is, how we can see the object? How we see the object? How we see the object? Yes, please.
When light is falling object, and this object will reflect and we can see this object.
Okay, that's good. Well done. Boys, whenever light fall on any object, and light will fall on our body, it will reflect and it will go into our eyes and it will give the sensation how we can see the object. For example, this is a Roshan bed. Light is falling on it and after light will fall on his body, it will reflect and it will go in our eyes, and then we can see the object. So this by this way we can see the objects. Okay, next question was here, what are the types of reflection, or how many types of reflection was? Raise hand up. Any group? Yes.
It has two types, regular and irregular.
Oh, that's good. It has two types of reflection. One is regular reflection and other is irregular reflection. That's good. Good. Okay, now next question. What is a regular reflection? What is a regular reflection? Please. Another group. Any group? Voluntarily. What is a regular reflection? Okay, I can tell you the answer. While in regular reflection, yes, okay, please.
Mirror and highly polished surface, which is entirely attracted the object.
Yeah. See here, in regular reflection, incidence angle is equal to reflected angle. Incidence angle is equal to the angle of reflection. So, light with same angle of incidence and same angle of reflection, this is called a regular reflection. And what is the irregular reflection, please? Any group?
Irregular reflection is a rough object and not equal angle of incident and reflect ray.
Okay, that's good. And regular reflection was, this is a rough reflection of light in which incidence angle is not equal to angular reflection. So it is called a rough reflection. It on the rough surface. That's good. Well done. Excellent. Okay. And now boys, we are going to discuss next part. This is a conversation. And now you start. And boys, now conversation time is finished. And now please any group who will make conversation on how we see the objects. How we see the objects. Any group, please. Yes, stand up. Who are conversation?
Which topic?
How we see the objects.
How we see the object.
How we see the objects.
The color, right? Reflect,
Time is finished. Please voluntarily this group stand up. How we can see the objects?
When the light is falling on the object and is reflecting to our eyes, and we can see it. For example, light is falling on LDR, and I can recognize it.
Okay, that's good. Well done. Good answer. Clap for him. This is the conclusion, guys. This is the conclusion. We can see the objects. First of all, light will fall on the object, fall on anybody, and then we can see the object. For example, this is a Roshan mat. Light is falling on it. It will go into my eyes. It will create a sensation, and we can see the object. We can see the body. We can recognize the thing. Okay. Now this group, please.
Without light, we can't see it. For instance, if I will switch off the light, we can't properly see my friends because the light is not reflected. And if I will switch on, I can see properly and recognize him.
Oh, that's good. Great. Well done. Good.